Hi everyone, I hope you have enjoyed our segment on the humanities and unpleasant truth claims. For as long as human beings have been around, whether it's, from 200,000 years ago, like the scientist Francis Collins says, or 100,000 years ago, like the scientist Richard Dawkins says, human beings have been asking themselves very big questions, questions that have, many different answers to them. These questions include, who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? Why does the universe exist at all? Why does movement happen, and so on? And the philosophers chime in, the religions chime in, okay, the poets and novelists chime in. And for example, a lot of the religions make very big truth claims. Okay, they make metaphysical claims, they make ethical claims, and a lot of what these religions say involve you, and it involves me. And so, be that as it may, I need to be free to question these things. Is this really true? Does that holy book have the answers, or does it not? Do we want, X, Y, and Z to proliferate throughout the world and, impose itself on the world? Is that a good idea? Okay. How's life going to be for the rest of us if religion X, Y, or Z gets the upper hand and imposes, what its God or its prophet or prophets, want for the world? Is that going to be a good idea? Just go down the list for various groups of people, okay? In the Free West, we should be able to discuss these things. And the danger is that, they're going to be taken off the table and they're not going to be discussed, and arguably a lot of bad ideas that have caused great destruction throughout, say the 20th century and even before that, will not be debated and discussed and ultimately refuted, okay? Because if they are dangerous and if they are false, then they have to be refuted, okay? So, it's important that, we read, books like, Alexander Solzhenitsyn's One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, or even his larger nonfiction work, The Gulag Archipelago. Okay, this is a guy from the Soviet Union. He was one of the political dissidents, okay, who didn't like the idea of the communists trying to build this utopia, this golden future, okay? And anybody who stood in the way of that, anybody who stood in the way of, the communist dream of, world peace and everybody's going to be fed and we'll all be one, anybody who didn't agree with that got sent to the Gulag, in other words, a concentration camp. And they were worked to death, they were starved to death, and so on. So, Solzhenitsyn went on to say, even after he was liberated, that the Gulag is still around. I don't know if you know this or not, but there was a recent book that just came out that talked about how the Gulag is now extended into cyberspace. And if you just look at what's happening to people, who have a different point of view, who don't think X, Y, and Z is such a good idea, they're getting deplatformed, they're getting demonetized, they're getting fired from their jobs, they're being socially ostracized, they're being beat up in the streets. Some have to even move to a new state, and so on. So, these ideas that caused great destruction in the 20th century, even before, they're still around. And there are very true believers in these various isms, okay? So I just want us to be aware, and I don't know if you're getting this elsewhere, but you're definitely going to get it here. Ideas do matter. They do have consequences, and, they are still around, and they have people who are trying to implement them. And you don't want history repeating itself. That's why it's important to, have an open exchange of ideas and be able to criticize, X, Y, and Z, especially when X, Y, and Z have caused nothing but death and destruction over the centuries, okay? So that's just one man's viewpoint, and if you disagree, congratulations to you. I encourage you to disagree, and whatever the case may be, let's all keep moving onward and upward, not only here at Doane University, but also in life. Have a great week.